Hello, everybody. This is William Corgan of MadamZuZu's.com and Smashing Pumpkins, right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
You're in the Smashing Pumpkins too, yeah?
Yes, I am. This is Jeff from the Smashing Pumpkins.
The Schroeder. And Rodrick Markus of the Rare Tea Cellar, who provides all our tea here at Madam Zuzu's. We're very proud to work with Rod. And what we're going to do today, or this evening, or what time is it?
I'm not sure. We're hitting the evening.
I don't know what time it is. Jeff and I have been preparing hard for the Ravinia show, which hopefully you'll see this before then. If not, the show was amazing.
Yeah, fantastic.
Sold out. Anyway, what are we here for? Oh, we're doing a tea tasting.
A little tea tasting.
Yeah. Now, this is a little bit of a cheat because this first tea I've tried, because we have it as a special, we don't really even have it on the menu. But we occasionally serve it at events like the Siddhartha show. We have this tea here. So this is, I never know the name because I just call it the orchid tea.
Yeah, well, it is an orchid tea, but you know.
Ambrosia Oolong. So I guess you're the.
I think though I may have had it at Siddhartha, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
You were soloing during the during the show. All right, so we'll try this tea.
Wow, that's really good.
Now, with orchid, now how do you? Because I'm a total novice. Okay, how do you get orchid into a tea?
You do it through a scenting process, where they're actually putting the tea leaves right near these wild orchids. As they bloom, the scent travels into the leaves.
Really?
Creating,
oh wow!
Literally.
I just assumed you'd had some kind of
like an orchid, magical orchid.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like essential oils or something like that. So
this is 100% natural, and it's based on the stories go for a lot of the orchid teas when thousands of years ago when people would travel through the forest and one of the servants would find a tea this good, the emperor would ask where is the tea from, and then immediately kill the servant so no one would be able to find the tea. So it's got a really, interesting...
Well, you're safe.
Yeah, we're safe. I think we'll make it through at least the filming.
Okay, now we're into the heart of the matter because now we're into the actual tea tasting. That was a little bit of a cheat that I took you on.
Warm up.
Okay, now, when I see these, I get the message from you. I have to wonder. Okay. Black Canadian smoked ice wine elixir. It's probably better we don't know what's in this, right? Let's go with it.
At least taste it.
All right, let's try this.
The smell.
Is there anything we should know?
Yeah, the smell is...
nothing that'll be anything but beneficial.
The smell is like almost like a whiskey musk.
Yeah. It does have a little.
Wow.
Perhaps it tastes different than I expected.
Yeah.
What is that?
Slightly sweeter taste.
Yeah, what's that sort of undernote in there?
Well,
it's almost like a licorice or...
A little. What happens is it's a combination of two of my favorite things: smoke and ice wine. And we use this amazing ice wine is when they leave the grapes on the tree, and then allow it to freeze over winter, and then squeeze the juice out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it creates this unbelievable thick syrupy base, and we use that, boil it down, and then spray the leaves as the base. And then we took this to a totally different place, and this is the first time we've ever actually smoked the actual tea to make it a smoked version of the traditional ice wine elixir.
Well, I can honestly say I've never had a tea like that. It's weird because at first because I had never tasted anything like this, it was like, I don't know if I like this, but the more I drink it, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
So there's a normal, just the iced wine tea. There's
nothing normal about an ice wine tea.
Yeah, sure.
But there's normally like an ice wine.
What is the sort of general idea of the benefit of having the grape after it's been frozen?
It reduces the amount of juice, and all the water crystals stay behind. So everything that's released is really syrupy and very fruit forward. It's like 3 times the concentration of a normal grape.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Fantastic.
I've been waiting for this tea. Wild Forage, Stinging Nettle, Limon. Not lemon.
Limon.
Once you get north of the city, it goes emo.
Yeah, it goes back.
Okay. Should we know about the wild forage before we go in? Because I don't think that would. I'd like to know a little bit about that before we take a taste.
Yeah. You know, it's a traditional leaf that's picked in the forest. People use stinging nettles to make everything from soups and
there's a medicinal aspect to nettles.
There really is a big medicinal aspect. It's got a lot of health benefits to it. And it also has this amazing flavor. And on top of it, just creates this interesting reaction in the mouth, unlike any other beverage of its sort.
Is the limon lemon or it's limon?
Just it's like an accelerated lemon. It's like a lemon who took it to a new level.
Now, did you do the foraging yourself?
I did not want to forage this.
Okay.
Although he's wearing the sandals.
Yeah.
And where?
This is Pacific Northwest, all over Oregon and Washington.
So probably people with dreads.
Help you grow beer.
Yeah, there could be some dreads.
All
There
right.
could be some mountain men involved.
All right.
You know.
Sure.
And it's just a leaf and a touch of lemon.
Is it supposed to be that subtle?
It's pretty subtle. You know, it almost
Like a chamomile level subtle, right?
Yeah, it does. You know, it's got almost a natural sort of a mint flavor to it, a little mintiness to it, and then a little herbaceousness from the actual green leaf, and then kicked with just a touch of lemon.
And remind me, because I don't want to say it wrong. A nettle is a.
It is, and actually, I think one of the most interesting things about it is, you see these beautiful nettles, and people cook with them and make teas out of it. But when it's in its fresh state, if you actually touch the nettle and then touch yourself anywhere, it'll immediately create a stinging sensation unlike anything I've ever experienced. And I don't recommend that part of the experience. That's why we created it into a tea. But it literally it feels like you immediately get like a...
Why do you think there's no allergic reaction from taking it internally?
I just, once it's dried, it loses its power in that sense. And once it's cooked, it also, so you either cook it or dry it to, avoid the sting. But it does create a light little effect on the tongue.
See, now I think I had a little bit more of a deeper brew. I got a little more of a lemon. It's cool.
It's cool to wake up the palate.
Right. So when you're on the blending end, the lemon, the limon, it's to give it a little bit of kind of a back kick. Is that right?
And just to touch the acidity, I think it kind of balances and creates almost like a little interesting sort of like trick to the tongue, a little sweetness.
Awesome. Gentlemen, are you ready for this one? Because this is quite the smell we got going on here. Emperor Swords of Samurai Gyokuro. Anything we should know about this before we go in? This is, I'm feeling an intensity here.
It's one of the most high maintenance teas in the world. They shield the tea field for 8 weeks before the production. And what they do is literally put up a mesh net over the tea field. It forces the plant to form chlorophyll within the leaves, thus creating this amazing green hue to the actual tea. And then, just because that wasn't exotic enough, we took the stems and stalks of the Gyokuro tea plant and then lightly roasted it rather than heavily roasted it. And it really brings a green tea over to the world of like the savory tea or an umami sort of infusion.
All right, I'm ready. That
I love that.
is fantastic.
That's so good.
That is
It's
awesome.
like a meal in a cup.
That is awesome. I mean, come on, I run a tea shop, and that just blew my mind. It's not every day a song lives up to its title.
Yeah.
This tea lives up to Emperor's Swords. Wow.
Wow, that's
fantastic. So there's the tea leaf, and then you're using the stems and the stalks. You said,
it's like a lower caffeine infusion, but it has this just really interesting, flavor, and especially when you lightly roast it, it gets this golden hue, and I just love it as an infusion.
Wow.
Yeah, that may be the best tea like this I've ever had. I mean, it's really amazing. Thank you. Fantastic.
I'm in business with the right guy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, this is simple.
Yeah.
Wild, blueberry. Okay, but noir.
Noir.
What does that mean? I mean, I know what it means. What does that really mean?
It's wild Maine blueberries blended with a really amazing black tea that we created. High Mountain Black Teas from China and India did a special blend for it, and just, it's like the blueberries just sing. No one's crazy enough to put wild blueberries, in a blend like this, but we just took it to a new level.
And that's something to point out for people that wouldn't know much about tea, and I've had to learn as I go. Most times when you have a tea that's got strawberry or blueberry, it's actually not real fruit that you're drinking. It's stuff that they sort of mash together to make it, and a lot of times it's not. They call it natural flavoring, but it's not even really good for you.
So true.
So everything we serve at Madame ZuZu's and through MadameZuZu's.com is all natural, which I really appreciate. Because that's what we want to represent. But I have to say, on the noir, I was sort of in the idea of like hippies picking this at night. It was good. That's the poet in me. I wanted to go into like people in like moonlit fields. So
I did envision that.
okay, so we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, we can go with that.
Wild blueberry noir. That's nice. Subtle, but that's the right kind of subtle for a fruit tea.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of like drinking the
Kool-Aid.
they're drinking the ice cream tea or whatever.
Grape soda. It's really nice.
Let me ask you this, since we're on the subject, because a lot of tea companies kind of fake their strawberries and their blueberries.
Yeah.
How do you get the right essence of the blueberry taste into the tea in a way that's not compromised?
So, to get extra technical is we have the wild blueberries, foraged by hand. There's no other way to pick wild blueberries. And then the only way to preserve them in nature and to give you the most flavor is through freeze drying. And it's freeze dried and then put into the blend. And once you freeze dry it, just all it does is take all the water out. So you have nothing but the natural flavor of the fruit.
Interesting. I'm still into the idea of people picking stuff at night. Just don't call me.
What is that you're holding in your hand, sir?
Before I talk about what I've got, man, we're working on this Ravinia show every day.
Yes.
Shameless plug for the Ravinia show. But this,
what day is that? I forgot.
It's August 30th.
Oh, that's right.
2014, in case you're watching this in some other eon. But this sounds like the type of tea we should be drinking. That's a sensorial type of thing.
Yeah.
It sounds like the type of tea we should be drinking.
This tea tastes like it sounds like we should be drinking.
Yes. Emperor's Moonlight Lychee Blossom. Okay, now, there's a reason you're the man. Who's thinking this up? You. We're in the studio. We're getting it done over here. You're in some lab somewhere.
What are you doing in that lab?
In the Emperor's Moonlight
It's festive.
Lychee Blossom. Come on. It just sounds like...
Yeah.
It backs it up with flavor, luckily.
All right, let's do this. Green tea scented with tropical lychee fruit. Wow.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Not fun.
That's awesome. You've outdone yourself on this one.
Thank you.
I think I love the orchid tea, but this just kicked it up a whole notch. Oh yeah. I love orchid, anything. This is... again, maybe it's the Irish in me, but I like when you drink a tea that makes you feel kind of magical or, kind of the moonlit feeling that you get when you're in a great mood or you're in love. Tea can give you that in a really interesting way. It kind of takes me to a certain place. And, I've been writing my book a lot, drinking your teas, particularly the Stimulus Hot. But this is, how's this iced, by the way?
It's excellent.
It seems like this would be great.
Strong
Yeah. A tea like this iced can be really, really cool.
Yeah, it's real delicate.
I'll tell you, it's a real pleasure, and this isn't a plug, but it's a real pleasure to have teas like this at home and treat yourself. You're having a bad day, whatever, go out and sit on the porch and have a nice cup of iced tea that you make for yourself It has a really unique flavor. It really enhances the day in a way that I can't explain, but I really love that. Wow, I love this. This is awesome. Wow. Okay. 1995, as indicated on here. That's a good year for me.
So you're gonna like this one.
Maybe to bring back the old feelings and all the millions of fans. 1995 Private Reserve Green Dragon Puer. Now, when you have something like this 1995 Private Reserve, obviously you know what it means in wine world, but what does it mean in tea world?
In the tea world, it can mean one of two things. It could either mean someone has an old tea that you shouldn't be drinking, but when it's a puer tea and it comes from us, it basically is a vintage-aged green tea, and it's processed in the puer style, where they actually mist the tea leaves with water, compress it into a brick, and age it until there's a beneficial mold or bacteria for the human body that starts growing, and we store it just like you would wine at 50 degrees, 50% humidity until we harvest it into, an actual picking.
That's intense.
It's the most full-bodied grain I've had.
Ever?
No, I've had a couple that almost took me down, but this has got a smooth factor to it.
Beautiful.
It's just so different. And the fun, according to Oriental medicine, the one amazing thing about puer tea, unlike any other, hot liquid in the world, is that it'll give your body yin or yang, hot or cold energy, and will adapt to your body without being told or, pushing it out a certain course. So it's just real adaptive and amazing.
Yeah, I will say that there's kind of, when I first went to Japan, I guess in 1982, that was my first real exposure to green tea before it became kind of a trendy thing in America. And I remember when I first went to Japan, drinking this green tea was really bitter. And I would be like, whoa. And of course my friends would say, well, that's the way you drink it, it's good for you. We like it strong, kind of probably like people would like coffee. And since that time in America, green tea's kind of become kind of ubiquitous. It's up there with black tea. You can go in any kind of diner and you can get a green tea. And there's that kind of general green tea taste, which really doesn't do much for you. It almost tastes kind of like dirt.
It's harsh. Yeah,
it doesn't really. It takes a lot of the edge off of what a green tea can be. And I think you've done a good job here of getting this kind of. It's like, if I could explain, it's like it's a refined green tea without being exotic. So if you like a green tea. Let's call it a straight green tea. This is really good.
Yeah, it's got a little smokiness to it, naturally, just from the age.
Very nice.
A little tinier vintage.
Wait till we get into like 100-year-old
Yeah.
tea. There we go. We rock it. But of course, we'll be like. Okay, we're almost to the end here. We've got 2 teas to go. Himalayan Peak Darjeeling. Now, does that mean from the Himalayan peak?
The deepest. I mean, it's right where the clouds touch the top of the mountains. It's about as majestic as it gets. I mean, honestly, you envision like seeing a couple of elephants randomly roaming as you're having a discussion on the top.
Now, I'm the type of person that believes that, certain places on the earth, and I know you believe this, they have particular spiritual properties, healing properties. We're not doctors. It's more of a spiritual point I'm making. But, when you go to something like that, there's a refinement to even the journey to get to this tea.
Yeah.
To bring it all the way here, it's pretty fantastic. How do you call somebody? Hey, by the way.
It's really
we have a hard time getting gear from here to there. You know what I mean?
This is a tea that would be extremely rare even if we lived in India on the mountain.
Imagine, yeah.
Yeah, hand rolling in itself is something you just don't see anymore. And,
okay, real quick question. Sorry to interrupt you.
Of course.
So, you're on the peak, you got the tea. Do they process it there, or is it just to get the leaves down and then processed somewhere else? Or?
It depends on how high up on the mountain is, but they have different areas where they'll process. So, different elevations, they'll have processing facilities to keep it, extra fresh and to preserve it, in its natural state.
This is what I love about TV Adventure. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. There's actually only about 20 kilos in the entire world of this particular tea.
Say that again. There's only 20
kilos in the entire world. There was one chest available.
Is that per year kind of thing?
This depends. This year, there wasn't as much water, so what they did is, just limited the harvest. I mean, the one thing I love about, the guys we work with on the mountain is, unless it's exceptional, that they just don't pick it.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Of course.
What, on an average day, how are you tracking down where these teas are coming from, and what's that process like?
It's more seasonal than it is every day, but certain teas are also, you need some of the commodity things to work with, and whether it's lemongrass that's biodynamic or even, something exceptional like this, between about April and September, I'm inundated with tasting.
Okay.
It's just non-stop, like rapid fire. Some days you just gotta fight through it and, try 200 teas, and it's those tastings where you get to taste something like this and it just pops, and it's something amazing.
And do you have to travel around the world to go and test some of these out, or?
We travel as much as we can, and for example, like this from the Ambucia Tea Estate, and they flew in from India, saw us, and sat down for multiple tastings for this particular harvest, and in October I'll be back out with them, and it's just, it's such a beautiful, environment, 100% biodynamic base, so, they plant according to the lunar cycle, the sun, the moon, the stars, and just take it to a different level.
Yeah, I love Darjeeling. I'm really partial to Darjeeling tree teas. I don't know necessarily as much as I should, other than I'm a consumer. But this has an interesting kind of kick to it. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's got some really, nice flavor. It's got a little of that muscatel, sort of that grapey sort of a tone.
Yeah.
And what's amazing about this is, normally black teas are very low in antioxidants, almost have none, because they go through so much processing. But because this is a first flush and how it's picked, you get the benefits of a black tea with the amazing amount of antioxidants, and it's just the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I think where you do a great job is, and I before I knew you, I'd run into these teas, let's call them kind of gimmicky teas. I think you do a great job of walking right up to the line where something has an exoticism to it, but it doesn't go over the line where it's like somebody couldn't walk in here, have a cup of tea, just say they like Darjeeling. It's not going to send them out the door like this is the weird thing.
Right.
Because I really believe that at the end of the day, the teas have to appeal to everybody, and I think you're doing a fantastic job with that. This is really, really beautiful.
I enjoy it.
Here's to the men who brought it down the mountain.
Yeah.
Or women.
Yeah. Very nice.
Okay, we reached the end of this particular road. I got to say, I got a pretty good buzz on. I don't know about you.
I'm bouncing off the walls.
We're rocking in here.
Oh my God.
Emperor's Private Reserve Tencha. Tell us a little bit about... Sorry, I'm just so...
So in the moment.
I'm so in the moment. Emperor's Private Reserve Tencha. Tell us a little bit about Emperor's Private Reserve.
So this is just a tea that, we kind of had to, fight through the system to bring into the country. And what it is normally tencha is used to make matcha or green tea powder. And this is a ceremonial grade tea. So this is a shade-grown green tea from Japan, just created in the most pristine environment in the world. And what's amazing about it is they literally take the tenderloin of each tea leaf, just this center cut, and they're cutting around everything else and selling that as a lower grade, and they're just creating what I call, I usually refer to it as green gold. And it just looks like these little bits of like green gold floating in the water, and it's just the cleanest, most highly chlorophyll laden green tea in the world, and just really special. And
this is the best of the best.
This is this is just one of the most exceptional varietals ever, and it's just such a cool story because really the samurai were the first to make tencha, to make the matcha powder for the green tea ceremony, and this is like the precursor to it. And what I love about it is like, whereas like ground pepper may overwhelm your palate, if you have a pepper in its whole, it may be a much milder and not as in your face. And it's really the same thing with this particular tea. So rather than grind it, we took it back a step and just brought this amazing green leaf.
All right, it's quite a setup there. Wow, beautiful. See, this would go great with a meal.
That'd be awesome.
This is like the right combo. Because like I was saying before about some of the kind of the green tea stuff, it's like sometimes it's sort of it's not the right note. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean,
it's extra vegetal sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't necessarily want to mix that with meal. This would be perfect with the meal.
Yeah, this would be out there.
This is really like a fine wine. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we reached the end of that road, and we tried 8 teas today, and amazing, fantastic. You've outdone yourself. I have to say this is the best new batch we've had, and I've been pretty impressed by all the other ones. All the teas that we tried today are going to be on MadameZuZu.com, and of course with our exclusive teas that we work with you on. And boy, I mean, the future's bright working with you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jeff, for being a part of this.
Thank you for
what a very special
tasting.
tasting.
It's fantastic.
Just an amazing
So
tasting.
it's Billy, Jeff, Rod, and we'll see you on the golden road to the Himalayas. We'll be up there picking the mother bush, drinking tea.
Good times.